but I suggest that most of you have heard at least of one of his two famous disciples. His two most famous students were Jean-Paul Sartre and, I took a pain pill about an hour ago, and I said to my wife, I said, this is going to be an exercise in terror tonight because I'm going to be so loopy. I'm not even going to be able to remember Martin Heidegger's name, but it just came to me. All right. So you have Sartre and Heidegger, who are two of the most significant atheistic philosophers of the 20th century. Both studied under Husserl. Both preoccupied with the whole concept of human volition. And Sartre came to the conclusion that it's human freedom that is the strongest argument there is against the existence of God. Basically, Sartre reasoned in this manner. He said, if man is truly free, God cannot exist. And, conversely, if God exists, man cannot be free. Now, those were the options. And he said, we know for sure that we are free. We know for sure that we are moral creatures, that we are volitional creatures, so that proves that there can't be a God. Well, there was one element in his reasoning process that I haven't explained to you yet. In defining freedom, Sartre argued that freedom means autonomy. Let me say it again. Freedom means autonomy. And unless your freedom is elevated to the level of autonomy, your supposed freedom is but a mirage. Okay? What is autonomy? What is an automobile? You all know what an automobile is. It's the thing that guzzles your gasoline every day. The word automobile has a prefix and a root. Auto means self. Mobile has to do with movement. An automobile is a machine that moves itself, except when it runs out of gas. Then we have to push it, and it's no longer an automobile. But that word auto means self. The Greek word for law is the word nomos. You've heard it already today. The word antinomian means against the law. And so the word autonomy, autonomos, means literally self-law or self-rule. And so the idea Sartre had was this, that to be truly free, we have to have absolute freedom. We have to have autonomy, meaning that we have no accountability ultimately to anyone outside of ourselves. So obviously, if I am autonomous, if I rule myself, there is no room in that scenario for a sovereign, omnipotent deity who reigns in heaven over all things. Now, if you want to find an insoluble contradiction, an antinomy that no amount of insight can resolve, it would be the conflict between divine sovereignty and human autonomy. Those two cannot mutually exist in the same universe. Just like we understand that there cannot coexist in the same universe an immovable object and an irresistible force. Now, we can conceive of a force that is irresistible, and we can conceive of an object that is immovable. What reason cannot conceive is the coexistence of two objects, one of which is immovable and the other of which is irresistible. Why not? If an irresistible force meets an immovable object and the object moves, what does that tell you about the force? What does that tell you about the object? It's not immovable. If an irresistible force meets an immovable object and it doesn't move, what does that tell you about the irresistible force? It wasn't irresistible. You thought it was irresistible. And the old songwriter understood this. Some of you with Snow on the Roof, remember the song goes something like this: if an irresistible force such as you meets an immovable object like me, then what? Somewhere, somehow, da-da-da-da. Something's got to give, something's got to give, something's got to give. Remember that? That's the way they used to write songs in this country.